Hi there, and welcome back to the History of Fleetwood Mac. I'm Anita. Today we're going to wrap up Volume 6. This is Episode 7 of my scrapbooks, and we're finishing up the Mirage era as best we can. There's always a little stuff that's going to be left behind and will come up in future videos, but right now we're going to just start off. There's a few pages, so I don't want to make it too long for you. We're just wrapping up with some live photos here. I've mentioned so many times about how this is my favorite, one of my favorite eras of Stevie and Fleetwood Mac in general, but every time I see this little ribbon wrapped around her neck, I just feel so bad for Stevie. It was such a hard time for her having lost Robin that I kind of feel bad for liking the era so much. Just it's such a great album and such a great tour, but I know she's just really going through a lot. Not sure who the photographers are. I do know, as I had mentioned in a prior video at some point, there was a photographer named Richard Brackett who took a lot of photos at different tours. Seemed really he was going through the 80s with Fleetwood Mac, and he was selling a lot of pictures. He was from the Bay Area, and a lot of these could be his, because these, with all due respect, as much as I love them, are kind of a dime a dozen. There's a lot from this time or this particular show. It's hard to say. So I'm going to guess that that's maybe who these are. These ones I do not know, but again, these are, when I went through my Mirage pictures, I had a lot of duplicates, and I had a lot of stuff that was small, like 4x6, and then plenty that are 8x10. Some of these could be Dean Messina. This one in particular could be his, and you'll see in a couple yeah, Dean Messina. It could be in a couple of the other pictures. So this kind of goes with some of the prior pictures. Lots of really good Stevie live photos. This one, I'm not sure what's missing on this side. I don't know what happened, what got taken out or changed out. But here's a perfect example of those one I was telling you about. So Messina. Just being as I would go every time I could to the San Francisco Pier, this little rock and roll shop that was at the end of the pier there, and buy as much as I could every visit. Pictures, I don't know, were like maybe $1 or $2 a piece. Next thing I know, I have this big stack, and like $20 in like the mid 80s is a lot of money. So I'd have to really reel it back and buy like $5 or $7, maybe $10 worth of stuff. So I was in high school. I went through a really big Marilyn Monroe phase too, and so I was buying a lot of that. So I was already into Stevie Nicks, but I was also buying stuff of her, so it was kind of hard. And at the time, I probably bought more Marilyn stuff than I bought Stevie. But I brought my share of, and there was more Maryland. That's why. And there's just the occasional little bits from local photographers and such like that who had stuff for sale. So that was probably why. This is a really cool little collage that I made of Mirage. This is from the Forum, and I think which is where the show was, the HBO special was filmed. But these are direct from negative that I have, except maybe this one. No, that one could be it too. Problem is, not too many of these were with Stevie. There's only a handful. Lots were of Lindsay and Chris. Lindsay at the edge of the stage there, doing his thing. This is a really funny little full page ad of Fleetwood Mac for the Mirage video and for Stevie's HBO special. It's funny, it's a UK, it's a British ad. And I want to say that this is, no, it looks like they are both VHS. I thought one of them was beta. Pardon me. So sorry. I don't know where that came from. Am I boring myself or you with my content? Really great shot of Chris and Lindsay. I love this photo. This was part of one of the things that I got in that big box. This is Jim Shea. There's a whole bunch of stuff on the back of it. You got his stamp. You got his little written thing. You have the percentage size. And then this is, again, one that was used in Mick Fleetwood's book. So there's a little sticker that's attached to it that tells you, like, you know, what page it was going to go on, possibly, and the size of the picture to go in there. This is one I'd like to get framed and have up. I'm really keen on this photo. Some more live ones. I remember getting this at a shop in Los Angeles quite some time ago. Not one of the two that I mention all the time, just a kind of an obscure other one. And I was just so pleased with it. I could not believe I walked in and found a Fleetwood Mac photo. It's just kind of funny, but I just remember getting this clear as day. Then some little tidbits. This might be from, I don't even know what magazine. I'm not sure if that's a magazine or an 8x10 that I trimmed down. I think I got this photo with this photo at the time. Lindsay is kind of washed out on that, so it's not just my terrible lighting. Hey, look, that photo. You guys have you ever seen that photo? Just kidding. It was used quite a bit, so it was just even funnier that I have as many copies as I do. That's a nice one of Stevie here. This looks like a little excerpt from maybe the HBO magazine. Oh no, it's just a little, looks like this little picture here came with this little excerpt here about the video being on sale. Then I remember I got these cool little jukebox strips in a 45 I bought some years back, and I just thought it kind of went with the pictures. I really like this one too. Then this one, I'm not sure where or why I had this autograph. It's yet another one, like I had the one that was assigned to George, but you know, George who, I'm not sure. This one is to Robert. But it's a nice Stevie autograph. And this should go probably with some of those pictures I had shown earlier. And this could be Mirage. If you saw all the proof sheets that I had, some of these, this might be one from those, but it could also go, it's this little thing that she's wearing that I think this might be a Tusk photo. But I've had it with the Mirage stuff for ages. They used some of this stuff during the Mirage promoting and such, so I think that's why I confused a lot of it and just kind of put it in there. And it is just right in between. I'm not sure, to be honest with you, that the pictures that I showed from Tusk that are definitely from this, that I can recall ever being used in Tusk promotional material. Whereas I've seen these being used with Mirage. So it could be that they were taken, more around Tusk time, but used towards Mirage. So maybe, Tusk was 79. So, and Mirage in 82. So it could be they were just taken closer to Tusk time, but still before Mirage, and just used at that time. So maybe they're not necessarily from Tusk, just more in between. Kind of a cute little unusual photo there. This was a review of Fleetwood Mac with Men at Work, September 23rd through 29th, 1982, from Livewire, Seen Livewire, which I think is that Cleveland paper, possibly. There's this as well. Then on this note here, we have one more. And then kind of a mix match of Lindsay and Chris. And this one is an original, and this one is taken by, why would I write that on the back there? Let's see if it's inside here. I think it's Sam Emerson. I think, possibly. I have it glued down, but I have more from this anyway. So that pretty much wraps up the Fleetwood Mac Tusk Mirage era that I have. I think there was one more here that went with that picture. Yet another one. So we have these two here, then this one. I'm sorry, there was one more. Then this cool little photo. I'm not sure what article this is from. Yeah, so it is by Michael Goldberg in Oakland. And it is all the article here. So it starts here, and then I just have it kind of fitting as best I could around there. So that is definitely the last page. But on the back of this, I'd shown you a picture, which I packed away now because it went with a prior scrapbook. And Stevie kind of had her arms out like this. Really cute picture. And I wish I still had it. Just make sure I don't. Yeah, it's pretty far packed. But anyway, this was a last one. And I wish I had found this to go with the other one. And this, again, is another Richard R. Moss photo. And I had mentioned that I had one with her and Tori. This one, unfortunately, is not a really good copy. It is a real picture, but there's just something dark about it. And I don't mean the mood of it. It's just like the I don't know, like maybe somebody took a picture of, I don't know. Could be somebody took a picture of it, but it's hard to say. No stamp or anything like that on the back. But yeah, really nice picture. So that's the last one. And I'm not sure why I have that here. I think I was just kind of filling space and trying to keep it flat. I'm really not sure where this one should go. I should ask his brother. Yeah, not sure at other time. So that is it for Mirage. So next we have, what do we have coming up next? I guess we're going to start on the Wild Heart. And I thought I had, I really do have a lot of Mirage. And I mentioned that, and I'd kind of been building up to it. And I'm almost disappointed in myself as to how little. There were pockets of really good stuff, but I think a lot of it still, I think, was mostly the proof sheets and such that I hadn't finished getting into the book. But I think you'll be pleased with all the stuff from Wild Heart. And we're getting into the really full 80s of Stevie Nicks and her solo career. Belladonna is such a thing, but there's still kind of that little country vibe, and still the kind of the tiny little petite Stevie singing still with Fleetwood Mac, and really Wild Heart just really brought her out completely. Like, listen, I'll go back and do some work with you guys, but I'm totally fine on my own. She knew enough with Belladonna, but really, really, really blossomed for her with Wild Heart. So we'll be getting into that next, and again, just some really great stuff, and hopefully you're enjoying everything. But it just seems like I had more Mirage stuff, and it's not in the book, so it's either around or I've shown it and just thought I had more. But thank you so much for coming every time you do and watching anything that I put up here. I really do appreciate it, and I certainly hope you enjoy it. Hope you have a great night, and we'll see you next time. Bye.